Hey friends, I'm glad you're here. Let's study the Bible together. Today we're diving into a powerful lesson from Jesus' parable of the tenants. It's found in the book of Mark, chapter 12, verses 1 to verse 12. All right, let's set the scene. Imagine a vineyard owner who does all the work. He plants the vine, he builds a secure fence, and he even adds a wine press into the vineyard. And also he puts a watchtower in there. It's a fully prepared vineyard with everything needed for a successful harvest. Then he rents it out to tenant farmers and he goes away. The agreement is simple. The tenants can manage the vineyard and then they'll share a portion of the fruit with the owner. So when harvest time arrives, the owner sends his servants to collect his share of the fruit. But things don't go as planned. Instead of honoring the agreement, the tenants beat up each servant, sending them back empty-handed. The owner tries again, sending more servants, but each one meets the same harsh treatment. Finally, he decides to send his son, thinking, surely they'll respect my son. But shockingly, the tenants see the son as an opportunity. They plot to kill him, thinking they can take over the vineyard entirely. Now, what does this story mean? In this parable, the vineyard represents God's creation and his blessings given to humanity to care for. The vineyard owner is God the Father, who entrusted us with his world. He intends for us to honor him by living according to his ways. The tenants represent people who have been given responsibility to tend to this creation, which includes us today. But here's the problem. Rather than honoring the owner's wishes, humanity often rejects God's authority. We see this when the tenant mistreat and ignore the servants. The tenants in this story represent God's messengers, like the prophets sent throughout history to guide and remind people of his ways. Over and over, God sends these messengers to call us back to him, but they are often ignored, rejected, or even mistreated. Then there's the Son, represented Jesus himself, whom God sent as the ultimate messenger and savior. The tenants, however, reject even the Son, choosing instead to follow their own desires, hoping to control the vineyard and control their own lives and live completely on their own terms. This parable carries a significant warning. Jesus is telling us that rejecting God's guidance and even rejecting God's Son means that we may lose the blessings that he has intended for us. Just as the servants lost their chance to remain in the vineyard, we risk losing the fullness of God's blessing if we ignore his ways. This story spoke directly to the Jewish leaders of the time. They realized Jesus' way of challenging them for their rejection of God's prophet and even of Jesus himself. But it's not just about them. This parable is a message for us today. God has extended his mercy to everyone, inviting us to turn away from our own ways and to honor him. Jesus is inviting us to trust in God's plan and to receive the blessings that come from aligning with his purpose. So where do we go from here? This parable is an invitation to examine our own lives. Are we honoring the owner of the vineyard, or are we acting as the wicked tenants wanting to control and are we rejecting his guidance? God has shown us incredible mercy by sending his Son, and through Jesus we're offered forgiveness and new life. I hope this parable encourages you today to look at your relationship with God and ask, how can I live in a way that honors God? Thanks for joining us today for Bible study. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like or subscribe and share it with others who might be inspired. See you next time as we explore more lessons from the holy and amazing Bible.